I think we got it fixed now, guys. Well, I'll tell you what, you guys really missed out on a hell of an intro, so you know what? Sign us up. We're going to do it twice. Welcome, everybody, to a special Sign Me Up Christmas Eve Spectacular. I'm your host, as always, the ref, representing Pro Football Newsroom, the number one source in good times. Plus, we're also going to be talking XFL, USFL, FCF, and we might even sprinkle in some Major League Football. But hopefully you've been some good boys and girls, because as I hear it, Santa Claus is already out making his travels, delivering gifts to good girls and boys worldwide. So if you're on the nice list and not the naughty list, maybe you'll get some spring football merchandise under your tree tomorrow. Hopefully the microphone's working now. Like I said, I love a good technical difficulty. My favorite technical difficulty is an audio technical difficulty. Quite honestly, I'm not entirely sure what happened there. We did a sound test before the show. A-OK. When we go live, when we go Bill O'Reilly style, that's when you know. F it. We're doing it live. Things go wrong, and I like it. But, and again, you probably saw it in the preview, but we're doing it again. What do you get? As always, we're joined by the unofficial sponsor of Sign Me Up, Bud Light. So we don't care if you like crap beer. We don't care if you like craft beer. We don't care if you like water, coffee, or iced tea. Let's get signed up. Second time. Tastes so good. Tastes so good. But do me a favor. Don't call the cops, because it must be illegal to have this much fun on Christmas Eve. Either way, we're going to jump into it. We got a lot of news. I mean, it couldn't get any more special. We wanted to have a Christmas Eve spectacular, and all of our favorite football leagues delivered and gave us some great things to talk about. Of course, you know we're talking about the blockbuster, groundbreaking, huge, monumental news that the USFL has signed a deal with NBC. And we're going to talk about how crazy that is. We're also going to talk about the latest XFL hires. And more importantly, we're going to look at the latest comments from The Rock. So he mentioned new team names, new team cities, broadcast partners coming early next year, within the first 2 months, possibly. So we're going to jump into that. We're also going to touch on everything in the world of spring football. So we got some fan-controlled football in there. They got some partnerships. And pending on time, we might jump into the Major League Football news. And then we have a little bit of a surprise at the end. Also, before we jump into the news, let's just jump over to the web. Let's jump over to the web. Let's just jump into this. Make sure you're following us all across social media. There's a reason we're number one. So, hey, me personally, the Ref Says over on Twitter, but we also have XFL Newsroom, USFL Newsroom, PF Newsroom for Pro Football Newsroom. Make sure you're following all of them for all the latest news. Make sure you're following us or subscribe to us here on YouTube. And if you already are, or if you're not, make sure you hit the bell. The bell is the cool thing to do in 2021. And I'll tell you what, you might want to get ahead of the bunch because 2022 is going to be a cool year. So make sure you hit the bell. Get ahead of the curve. Your New Year's resolution, number one new resolution, click the bell. Click the bell. I'll love you. That would be the greatest Christmas present to me, is if you click the bell. But if you don't want to, I'm not going to hate you for that either. But we're going to jump into some news. That's the social media. Follow all of our podcasts as well. Like we have the Gridiron Gallery. We have a whole bunch. We're actually going to jump into 2 new ones. But before we do, this is the USFL podcast. So at This Is the UFL on Twitter. Make sure you follow him. He's recently updated that handle. But we have a couple. I don't know if we talked about this one, but he's been around for a couple weeks now, maybe a little bit over a month. We have Mike, XFL Mike from the Let's Talk XFL podcast. If you haven't already, go check it out. I mean, people love XFL content. There it is. It's right there over at Pro Football Newsroom. And we also, on the USFL side, we have the Michigan Panther cast. So go check it out. Both of them are great. They're getting started, so they could use as much support as you can give them. And you know how we do at the newsroom. We love the community. We're all about the community. No hate here, only love, especially on Christmas Eve. Especially on Christmas Eve. So you know what? I think it's ready. We jump into some news. I'm loving the technical difficulties. I'm so glad that we had them. It wouldn't be spectacular without a spectacular technical difficulty. The ref loves them. But you know what? I think we're going to kick things off with some fan-controlled football news. So here in the States, I mean, it was pretty big news earlier this year. They had the deal with NBC LX, which would see all of their games aired on NBC LX, as well as NBC's Peacock streaming app, which is pretty big deal. That I didn't think I would like the Peacock app, but I am actually very fond of it. I like it. It actually does what I need it to do. It's affordable, and they even have some free options, which I don't think this will fit under. But that's for the United States. What about the rest of the world? Well, the FCF, the Fan-Controlled Football League, they're not going little. They want season version 2.0 to be as big as possible. People trying to call me, well, I'm trying to get signed up here. No, thank you, spam caller. Get out of my phone. So let's talk about it. They've released a press release. This was the 16th, so earlier this week. We're going to skip over the mumbo jumbo. We're just going to go right into the press release. Here we go. Actually, water. Water's good for you. We're going with natural spring water this week. Not usually a huge fan of the spring water, but I've been feeling it lately. I accidentally bought some when I was up in Illinois a couple weeks ago for Thanksgiving. And ever since then, I've been a little bit fond of the natural spring. I will say this, it does definitely taste different here in Texas than it did in the Midwest. So either way, DAZN will stream all season version 2.0 action to 200 plus countries and territories worldwide. So again, in the United States, they have a deal with NBC LX. They're going to be on Peacock. They're also going to be on Twitch, just like they were for the first season. But now globally, DAZN is coming in to be their broadcast partner. So, Fan-Controlled Football, the only professional sports league that empowers fans to call the shots, today announced DAZN, the leading global sports streaming platform, as its new global broadcast partner for season version 2.0. DAZN will bring American football fans worldwide FCF preseason events, all regular and postseason games, and original programming throughout the 2022 season, both live and on demand to all 200 plus of its countries and territories around the world. Again, with the exception of the United States, where games will be available on demand only. So, if you are a DAZN subscriber in the United States, you won't be able to get it live, but you can get that on Twitch, you can get that on Peacock, NBCLX, but they will still have them on demand. So, I mean, this is actually huge news for the league. You know, quite honestly, when we look back at the pantheon of spring leagues that haven't been able to make it, very few have made it to a season 2. FCF has done just that. Fan-controlled football has almost built themselves in a way where they know they're small and they're going to grow from there. And we're almost seeing a similar strategy with the USFL, but I think they're going a little bit bigger, and we're going to get into that a little bit later. So FCF is doubling its size. We talked about this earlier this year, from 4 teams to 8 teams. So again, starting small and then building from there. Now, I'll say this. I don't know if they should keep expanding so rapidly, but I do like the move to 8 teams. I do like the move. I like the addition of the new broadcast partners. I like what they're doing on social media. It seems like they're having fun. So, I don't know. I think one of their new campaign slogans is the All Fun League. And I mean, you can't be angry at that. Can't be angry at that. So, FCF, what do you guys think? Are you guys going to be tuning into season version 2.0? I mean, you have options. They will have some competition. I mean, the USFL is kicking off at the same time. So we've seen FCF is kicking off April 16th. The running date that we've heard for the USFL is April 15th. So, I mean, there could be some push and pull there. Kind of different markets, different type of game, but there is going to be some mixture there. So at least at minimum, we have on-demand versions of these games, which I think we're going to see with the USFL as well. So let's jump into some USFL news. So back in October, right, it was pretty silent from the league. We first heard that they were returning back in June, I think June 3rd. And then it wasn't really until October until we heard anything. And this wasn't even from them officially. But it's once we first started hearing the rumors and reports that USFL representatives were in talks with Jefferson County and the city of Birmingham, Alabama, to host the entirety of its 2022 season, right? Since then, a lot of things have changed. So we're going to jump into this. So this was maybe a couple weeks ago at this point. You know how we do, sign me up. But we had to get spectacular for Christmas Eve. But a new USFL job listing seemingly confirms Birmingham as the central hub location. So let's jump into it. Let's just see what we got here. So earlier this year, the football world was rocked by the announcement that the USFL would be returning in 2022. At the time, details were slim, but we're starting to get a much clearer vision of their plans. Last month, the USFL revealed its first set of hires, which included Brian Woods coming to serve as president of football operations. So you'll remember he was the founder and CEO of the Spring League, which had a partnership with Fox for the last 2 years. They also brought in Daryl Johnston as EVP of football operations, which he has a long history with spring football. He was there in the AAF, the XFL, and now in the USFL. He also works for Fox as well. This is a big one. Mike Pereira as head of officiating. So again, keeping that legitimacy, I think, is important. So anyway, those are the first round of hires that we heard about. Needless to say, and this is my opinion, this was a huge indicator that Fox is taking the new USFL serious. I mean, with names like that, I think this is a big deal. So in the lead up to the 2020 season, the league has revealed all 8 teams. So we've seen the logos, we've seen the names, we've seen the divisional breakdown, and confirmed that the USFL will be playing in a central location for its first season. The last we heard about the location was that the deal was seemingly finalized between the USFL and reps from the city of Birmingham. When the league announced it would be playing a central hub, it didn't specify where, and it still hasn't yet. This, of course, led to fans online speculating if the deal fell through, while others speculated that the league was waiting for the right time to make it official. And now I think we have our answer. So, not this weekend, but the last weekend before, some new job listings were posted for the USFL, and the description basically tells you everything you know. So this is the USFL podcast, posted this on Twitter. So again, give him a follow. Each team will play a 10-game schedule, followed by 4-team semifinals and a championship game. In the inaugural season of the USFL, all 8 teams will play in one location, Birmingham, Alabama. In the future, the USFL expects the team to play in their own markets. Blah, 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 blah. We know that. So, I mean, that's all we need to know. But we're going to get into the timelines of at least when we might hear that it's official. So let's jump over. We're going to jump out of order. I had a couple things, and we're going to move them out of the way. So let's jump in. When will we officially hear about the Birmingham announcement in USFL? Man, I can't talk today. You know what I need? I need another technical difficulty in my life to get me signed up. Hopefully everybody's having fun today. Actually, I'm going to take a break. Before we jump into stories, if you didn't know, we're doing a special stream next week as well, Wednesday. Let's see, what day is that? Wednesday, December 29th, with my good friend Zach from the Gridiron Gallery. We're doing This Year in Spring Football. You've probably known if you're a fan of ours or if you've been following for a long time. Usually we do This Year in the XFL, but this year just hits different. We have a lot of things to talk about. So before we jump into that, let's jump over. Oh, you might have saw a sneak peek of something. Close your eyes. Well, anyway, jump over here, Best of Spring Football US 2021, and put in your vote. Let your voices be heard. We want to know. We're going to announce the results live December 29th on This Year in Spring Football. Like I said, special guest host, Zach from the Gridiron Gallery, me, the ref. And you know what? We might have some other little special tidbits and little fun announcements in there, so you won't want to miss it. Of course, it's going to be available on demand. But it's much more fun when we go live, baby. So anyway, make sure you let your voices be heard. Head over. Link is in the description. I actually thought ahead of time, and I have a link in the description right now. Click the link in the description. After you hit subscribe, after you hit the bell, click the link in the description. Let your voices be heard. We're going to announce the results December 29th on This Year in Spring Football. We're going to talk. What is the biggest moment of 2021? Was it the CFL, XFL talks, the USFL return announcement, team names and logos, NBC deal, XFL timeline reveal, the Spring League Mega Bowl, ELF, FCF? Let us know. There is an other option. And then also let us know which league you're most excited for, which return you're most excited for. Like I said, December 29th. Richard in the chat, he's ready to see who will be coaching the USFL. Me too. And actually, let's jump into this article. So, USFL announcement on season in Birmingham reportedly coming after New Year. And we're going to touch on that, my friend Richard. And I don't know. This is speculation zone. We're going to get in there. We're not in the speculation zone yet, but we're going to deep dive in to the speculation zone. So, this past October, reports started circulating that the USFL was in talks. We talked about all this. First set of hires, great, blah, blah, blah. Team names. What is the meat and potatoes of what we're trying to get here? When's it coming? Well, it looks like we might need to wait until the new year. So John Papecki, probably said that wrong. I apologize. Let me know, and I will correct it in the future. Of WVTM 13 reports that multiple sources have told them that the news won't be coming until January at the earliest. So here's what he said. I've been told by multiple sources that the announcement about the 2022 season host city will not come until after the new year. Carry on. And then he tagged his local team, the Stallions. So again, if you're worried that something changed, you shouldn't be. We talked about the job listing. That basically confirms it. We're not going to jump into the rest of the news here because we're going to jump into this right here. Rather than read the recap, we're going to jump into the press release. This is huge news. Now, again, we kind of knew this was coming, or we knew that it may be coming, but the USFL has reached a media rights agreement with NBC Sports. I mean, that's huge. That's huge. Considering that the USFL is owned by Fox, and as a partnership with a competitor, a broadcasting competitor, I mean, this is big stuff. And, well, we'll jump into it before I start giving my thoughts. Actually, before we do that, so one thing to answer your comment, Richard, one reason I think we might be seeing the delay here is maybe they want to make the announcement bigger. Maybe we'll see coaches. Maybe we'll see jerseys. At least that's my hope. Anyway, back to the other story. So earlier this week, we reported that confirmation that the USFL will be televised on both NBC and Fox for their 2022 season. Rumors of a potential broadcast split started popping up back in October when the USFL made their pitch to the city of Birmingham, Alabama, to serve as a central hub in 2022. The deal with Birmingham would see the city host all 8 teams for the first season, with as many as 4 in 2023. The plan would be then to migrate all of the franchises to their respective cities for the 3rd season. In the league's proposal, they had mentioned that the plan was to split the broadcasting evenly between Fox, Fox Sports, NBC, and USA. And now, when the news was confirmed earlier this week, it stated that the games will be televised on NBC, USA, as well as the Peacock TV streaming app, which I think is natural. Additionally, we learned that the USFL will be receiving rights fees from NBC, with the deal lasting for 3 years. Now, there's no money figures jumping out. We haven't been able to get our hands on how much the deal is worth. The only thing we've seen and heard from some other folks is that it's a significant amount, but how significant, we don't know. As expected, NBC put out an official press release on their deal with the USFL in 2022, which gives us some better insight on their plans. The press release outlines the broadcasting split between the network properties. 10 games will be on NBC, 9 on USA, with Peacock TV exclusively airing 4. On the Fox side, we'll have 12 on Fox, 10 on FS1. Major coverage for a new league, and it seems like for at least 3 years. A 3-year deal. I mean, when we look back at, again, the spring leagues that have come before this, one, a lot of them weren't getting rights fees. They were getting the broadcasting fees covered by like Fox or NBC or ESPN or whoever it may be, but they weren't getting paid. They're getting paid. So even if it's a few dollars, to me, that is significant. I think it's more than a few dollars. I think it's heftier than that. But we'll see. I'm sure we'll find out soon and maybe sometime near future. So, again, this is huge exposure for a new league. Plus, with the rights fees and a 3-year deal, the league has all the opportunities needed to succeed. So, you add on the fact that they're doing some cost-cutting procedures by playing out of a central location. They have a 3-year broadcast deal, as well as owned by a completely different broadcasting company. I mean, this is their game to lose. This is their game to lose here. So, let me take a sip of the unofficial sponsored Bud Light here. Me. There we go. Let's read the actual press release. We went into the details. Let's see what they had to say. NBC Sports joins Fox Sports as new league's official broadcast and streaming partners. The USFL announced today that it reached a multi-year agreement with NBC Sports to present the new league's regular and postseason games beginning in April 2022. NBC Sports joins Fox Sports as the league's official broadcast partners to carry all 43 games. Again, a big deal there. Every game being televised. Not that it hasn't been done, but you almost want it to be done. You almost need it to be done to have a little bit of success. But the fact that it's there is a good thing. While the league will release its official television schedule at a later date, NBC Sports will present 21 USFL games in 2022 on NBC, USA, and Peacock. And Fox Sports will carry 22 games split between Fox and FS1. The combined regular season coverage on NBC and Fox will give the USFL more national over-the-air broadcast windows than any regularly scheduled sport in the first half of the year. Again, big deal. Big deal. Let's read the quote here. We're excited to partner with the USFL and Fox Sports to present this new era of professional football. And that's coming from Pete Bavacqua. Again, I apologize. I probably butchered the name. Chairman at NBC Sports. With our multiple platforms across broadcast, cable, and streaming, football fans throughout the country will be able to experience the USFL's opening season this spring. We're thrilled to have NBC Sports join Fox Sports as an official media partner of the new USFL. This is coming from Fox Sports CEO and executive producer Eric Shanks, who will serve as chairman of the USFL's board of directors. Like Fox, NBC has a reputation for excellence in football production, and the exposure both companies have committed to the USFL, including a combined 20 games on broadcast television, will provide fans unprecedented access all season long. In 2022, the USFL's 8 teams will play in one host city, which the league will announce shortly. The Birmingham Stallions, Houston Gamblers, New Orleans Breakers, Tampa Bay Bandits comprise the teams in the South Division. Boy, getting tongue-tied. Maybe we'll switch back to the natural spring here. The North Division features the Michigan Panthers, New Jersey Generals, Philadelphia Stars, and the Pittsburgh Maulers, which are seemingly a fan favorite on the internet right now. Each team will play a 10-game schedule, followed by a semifinals between the 2 top teams in each division and a championship game between division winners. Last month, the USFL named Brian Woods, a league co-founder, president of football operations, former Dallas Cowboys standout and longtime NFL on Fox game analyst Daryl Johnson as EVP of football operations, former NFL vice president of officiating and Fox Sports NFL and college football rules analyst Mike Pereira as head of officiating, as we mentioned, and Fox Sports Edward Hartman as EVP of business operations. The USFL is a new independent football league controlled by Fox Sports through USFL Holdco, LLC, a new business entity, and is not associated or affiliated with the USFL of the 1980s or its owners. So they're letting you know this is a new league. It's independent. It's different. They are going to create the next generation of spring football stars, at least this season, right? And this is huge exposure. So we saw the XFL on Fox pull in great numbers. We saw the Spring League on Fox pull in good numbers with no advertisement. 0. And now we have the USFL coming in not only on Fox, but on NBC affiliates as well. And we're going to talk about promotions because now that this deal's out there, Fox has hit the gas pedal. The USFL marketing switch, boom, it's flipped on. They are getting full signed up. So we're going to look at the 3 promos and we're going to give our observations on the situation. Hopefully you saw them. I saw them live. We kind of knew that they were coming. We didn't know how many there were going to be, but we're going to jump into it here. So last week, Fox rolled out its first set of promos for the upcoming USFL season. The first came during Thursday Night Football, with the other 2 being rolled out during Fox's Sunday NFL broadcast. And additionally, since this was published, Fox also capitalized on the strange Tuesday night football that we had earlier this week and aired some promos as well. With roughly 4 months until kickoff, we've been hearing a lot more from the league with rapid-fire announcements. We've seen the first USFL hires, all 18 names and logos revealed, and learned that the league has signed a multi-year deal with NBC, all within the span of a month. So we talked about the NBC deal. Now that news is rolling, it seems that the USFL has also flipped the marketing switch on as well. Each promo that aired is 2 seconds long, but despite the length, there's a few observations that can be made about each with some possible clues hidden along the way. So let's jump into it. Hopefully, I think the audio should work here. We're going to test it, but hopefully you can hear the ad. If not, we'll fix it. Enjoy. Sign us up.
So here we go.
So, couple observations there. We have what seems to be the new USFL ball. So let's look at what we had to say. The first promo gave a lot of fans exactly what they've been waiting for, a shot of the USFL game ball. This is assuming that the ball pictured is going to be the same or similar to the one that they use in the next year. Comparing the original USFL ball to the one shown in the promo, you'll notice a few subtle differences. First, the USFL logo is colorized on the version displayed in the promo, whereas the original used black ink. The other noticeable difference is the addition of the stars near the end of the ball. I like the design. I like where the league is taking the design. It respects the league. It respects the league's history while adding a few subtle touches to make it a little bit more modern, make it a little bit more fun, make it their own. So, what did you guys think of the first promo? What we'll do, we'll watch all 3 promos. Let us know in the chat or the comments below which of the 3 promos is your favorite. So the second one, spring, boom, football. Let's see what they had to say here. So, not a lot. Second promo was the first of the 2 to debut during the Fox Sunday NFL broadcast. So they debuted 2 more during Sunday. First one, Thursday Night Football. This one, Sunday. Not a lot to pull from this ad, but we do love to see Fox and the USFL embrace spring football as a positive. For so long, spring football has had a bad stigma, mainly due to the growing graveyards of leagues that have come and gone in the past. So, again, not a lot to take from the ad. I do like the aesthetics. I do like the message. I think it portrays, hey, we have football. It's in spring. It's on Fox. It's in April. Here's the league. Here's the team. It accomplishes what it needs to. And remember, it's being broadcast out to millions of NFL fans. I think it's awesome to see the Fox just go full on out and start promoting the USFL bonkers. So the third and final ad. Now, this one caused a little bit of a controversy online. We'll jump into it in a minute.
So here we go.
So, you may have heard something in there. It was in the first one as well. But the third one may have given us our biggest clue or teaser of the bunch. After the text displays, you can hear a clip saying, "So here we go," which to me is clearly Fox's very own Gus Johnson, not the podcaster that got in trouble for being mean to his girlfriend. Gus Johnson, the Fox analyst, the good Gus Johnson, the nice Gus Johnson. Many fans also noticed this online, leading to speculation that Johnson will be in the booth for the USFL. We'll just need to wait and see on that front, but I think Gus Johnson would be a great fit to be the voice of the new USFL. So he's led the Fox. He's the leading college Fox play-by-play voice for Fox since 2011. I said Fox a lot there. He's worked with Daryl Johnston, so it makes sense. I think let's get him in the booth. Let us know your thoughts, though, down in the comments below. What do you think? Do you think he's a perfect fit for the league? I think he's a perfect fit. I think he's got a great voice to carry this league for many years to come. At least three. Let's hope for many, many more. So we talked a lot about the USFL. We talked about fan-controlled football. I think it's about time that we jump in to some XFL news. We know you guys love your XFL. We started out almost 4 years ago, I think January 25th. We started out as XFL 2K. Actually, we'll move to the big camera here. Move to the cam. So, yeah, I mean, we're coming up on 4 years. January 25th, we started out as XFL 2K. I think it was 2019, around August, we changed to, or updated to XFL Newsroom. Earlier this year, we debuted Pro Football Newsroom, which, I mean, still has XFL Newsroom, CFL Newsroom, FCF Newsroom, ELF Newsroom, of course, USFL Newsroom, TSL Newsroom, all the newsrooms. Like I said, I'm the meme of the guy trying to carry too many limes, and you guys know what I'm talking about. I'm the too many limes guy. So either way, I mean, we're wrapping up the end of the year. Like I said, if you haven't already, vote in our Best of Spring Football 2021 coming December 29th, next Wednesday, this coming Wednesday. Myself, along with Zach from the Gridiron Gallery, we're going to get live for this week in spring football. And we're going to reveal the results of the poll. We're going to go over the top moments of the year. And like I said, we're probably going to sprinkle in some goodies, some special announcements in there as well. But again, just thanks for supporting us. Thanks for sticking around. It's been a fun couple years. But maybe we'll do something special for January 25th. Maybe we will. We'll see. Let's get back to some news. Sorry, I like to take little breaks, little segments in between. So tasty. So fresh. All right. XFL announces key football operations hires. So last month we got the first set of hires. This month we got some new hires. Let's see what we got. There we go. Last month, the XFL broke its silence when they announced their first set of hires under the new ownership group. The group included new and former XFL staff coming into the league, headlined by the news that Russ Brandon would be serving as XFL president. With executives now in place, it seems that the league is really gearing up towards its 2023 return. Starting out December, co-owner Danny Garcia shared an image on Instagram that revealed the XFL kickoff timeline. Essentially, it outlined the league's plans for summer combines, training camps in January 23, with the return taking place February 18th, 2023. With executives now in place, we've over that. Even with the holidays right around the corner, it looks as if the XFL isn't ready to take the gas off the pedal. Just now, the league, or a couple days ago, the league put out a press release detailing a new set of hires, which once again includes some former returning personnel. Again, I love to see that. I love to see people coming back in to reprise their roles or even take on new roles, right? Sign the XFL up. So we have Russ Giglio, which I apologize, I may have gotten that name wrong, Senior Director of Player Administration and Officiating Operations. Jim Monos, Senior Director of Football Operations. Brad Campbell, Senior Director of Football Technology. Bobby Monica, Senior Director of Equipment Operations. C.J. Cavazos, Director of College and Professional Relations, and David Dykman, Director of Football Special Projects. So let's jump into their descriptions and see what they have to say. So Russ is a seasoned football administrator and returns to the XFL as the Senior Director of Player Administration and Officiating Operations, where he will be responsible for establishing and enforcing all roster policies and procedures, such as the player draft, contracts, and waivers. He will work closely with Mark Ross, Executive Vice President, Football Operations, and report directly to Doug Wally, Senior Vice President of Player Personnel, to support all officiating and player operation initiatives, including database synchronization and rule establishment and review. Importantly, he will help advise team personnel to ensure equity in player acquisition. During his 15-year career, he has held various positions at both collegiate and professional levels with organizations such as the National Football League, Big Ten, Pac-12, AAF, We know you like your AAF guys. And he keeps his officiating credentials current, has been a high school football official for the past 8 years. Sign him up. Sign him up. Next one, Jim Monos joins the XFL as Senior Director of Football Operations, where he will assist both player procurement as well as support day-to-day operations, including travel coordination and scheduling for each of the teams. Monos will work closely with Mark Ross and Doug Wally to assist with all team needs during the season. He joins the league after spending the past year as a football analyst at Sportslight Sports Group. Prior to that, he spent 17 years working in the NFL as an area scout for the Philadelphia Eagles and the New Orleans Saints and director of player personnel for the Buffalo Bills. So we see a Bills connection growing here. Doug Wally, Russ Brandon, Jim Monos now. So see how that grows. We'll see how that builds. Brad Campbell returns to the XFL as Senior Director of Football Technology, where he will work closely with and report directly to Scott Harneman, Senior Vice President of Enterprise Technology, to support all technology innovations on and off the field to elevate the game day experience. Prior to joining the XFL, Campbell was the Director of Football at Synergy Sports. He also spent several years in football video. Boy, oh boy, I can't read or talk. Several years in video positions at the collegiate and professional level with UCLA football and the Seattle Seahawks. Bobby Monica returns to the XFL, Senior Director of Equipment Operations, where he will be responsible for ordering football-related equipment for all teams. In addition, he will oversee the equipment staff for each team. Monica brings over 24 years of experience as head equipment manager in the NFL, working with the Miami Dolphins, Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Cleveland Browns. Prior to joining the XFL in 2020, he worked at Zebra Motionworks Sports Solutions as an operations specialist and was previously the Director of Equipment Operations at the United Football League, and he will report to Mark Ross. Cavasso joins the XFL as Director of College and Professional Relations, where he will work closely with Mark Ross and Doug Wally on all aspects of talent recruitment. Cavassos has more than 25 years of experience in recruitment as the founder and CEO of I'm going to get over that one. Sorry, guys. We've been drinking recruiting company and is deeply respected talent evaluator. Yeesh. He brings with him a strong network of both collegiate and professional coaches and will be a key part of on-field operations. And last but not least, finally, David Dykman, which we reported on a couple weeks ago, joins the XFL as the Director of Football Special Projects, where he will coordinate and oversee all specialized activities relating to player personnel and national combines. He will also be a key voice in player evaluation, roster development, and recruitment. Dykman brings in more than 20 years of diverse development and diverse experience coaching at various levels, including FCS, NCAA Division III, and preparatory schools, placing more than 150 student athletes at prestigious programs, including 6 former NFL players, and he will report to Doug Wally as well. Again, this is what we love to see. More spring football news, more XFL news. We have the kickoff date. We have executives in place. We're getting more and more news. And speaking of news, when do you think we're going to hear it? Well, one of the co-owners, The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, which, real quick, if you didn't watch the Young Rock Christmas special, you should check it out. But Dwayne The Rock Johnson, he gives us a little bit of a clue. So we're going to jump into that here. Tastes so good. So, Dwayne The Rock Johnson says XFL broadcast partners, new teams and cities coming in early 2022. So what does that mean? Well, we knew that they need broadcast partners. We talked about that with the USFL. You need a broadcast partner to be successful. We see one of their broadcast partners, Fox, is now owning the USFL. So that one might be out the window. We see NBC working with the USFL, but they're also working with fan-controlled football. So there's still a little wiggle room there. And keep in mind, well, we'll jump into it, but the XFL and the USFL, their seasons aren't head-to-head. So we'll preface that. Year-wide football, sign us up. Anyway, let's jump into what we've heard here. So it's been a long road for the XFL since they were forced to suspend its inaugural season due to COVID. This eventually led to the company filing for bankruptcy, which led to it being purchased by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Danny Garcia, and Redbird Capital. Originally, the league was planning to return in 2022, but after talking with the CFL about a potential partnership, they officially postponed it until 2023. Since they first hit the field in 2020, a lot has changed in the spring football landscape. So we talked about this a little bit. They went in their first season unopposed. The AEF had already folded by then. But now we have FCF and USFL also in the mix competing for talent. So their schedules might not be head-to-head. But the playing pool, the player pool, there's only one player pool. So there is going to be a race to scouting here. Furthermore, the USFL has already poached a few of the 2020 XFL host cities. With all this happening in the XFL under new ownership, there was expected to be some changes to the league that we saw under Vince. After many months of silence, the XFL really seems to be kicking into gear for its return. First, we learned of the first set of hires under the new ownership group in November. Additionally, co-owner Dana Garcia, like we mentioned, shared an image on Instagram to kick off this month that revealed February 18th, 2023 as the XFL's targeted kickoff date. So, again, similar to what they did in 2020, they plan on kicking off a week after the Super Bowl in 2023. But earlier yesterday, we got some more insight from another co-owner, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who joined CNBC to discuss the future of the XFL, and here's what he had to say. We should, maybe within the next month or maybe 2 months, announce our broadcast partners, which we're very excited about, and new teams, new cities, and very excited about that. So, that doesn't tell us everything we wanted to hear. The positive, we're getting more XFL news, and soon. The big item is clearly the announcement of the broadcast partners with the USFL owned by Fox in a partnership with NBC. A lot of people expect XFL to join up with ESPN. And clearly it does make sense because former longtime ESPN staffer Jay Rothman recently joined the XFL. And I'm sure those partnerships are going to work out well for them. Those networking skills always come in handy. So I think definitely the XFL, one of their broadcast partners is going to be ABC, ESPN, that whole Disney mix. I don't know if NBC is necessarily out of play here. Like I mentioned earlier, their seasons are unopposed. And this is The Rock. The Rock is talking here on CNBC. Not to mention that Young Rock is aired on NBC. He seems to have a friendly relationship with both Disney and the Comcast NBC Media Group, whatever that's called now. So maybe we get the USFL, FCF, and XFL on NBC in one way, shape, or form. Maybe Peacock is shaping itself up to be a spring football stronghold in the streaming market. Only time will tell. But the big news here, the other news, then maybe not so positive, is the new teams, new cities. What does that mean? Does it mean all the teams, all the cities? I don't think so. I hope not, at least. But it sure as heck sounds like there's going to be some new teams and new cities. Maybe it's expansion. I don't see that coming yet either. If they are going to relocate, there's one that they can't. Well, there's two that they can't, but we'll get into my selfish reasons here in a minute. There's one that they absolutely can't, and that is St. Louis. They would be silly not to go back into St. Louis. They embraced that football team. They were on track to have over 50,000 people there for Week 7 against the Los Angeles Wildcats. That built-in rivalry. The other one they can't move, and this is for my own selfish reasons, the Houston Roughnecks. Come on. Give me my local team. I need my team. Don't make me rough you up, if you get what I'm saying. So anyway, there are some teams that we could see moving, though. The New York Guardians, if anything, move them into something like Red Bull Stadium. Would like to see them stay in New York or New Jersey or however you want to play that out. The other one I could see moving is the Vipers. I could see them going over to Orlando, and coincidentally, that is one of the places where the USFL has a team. So Tampa and Houston kind of got poached by the USFL. But again, their seasons are unopposed. It might not matter that much. Yeah, you might have some fan fatigue with having that much football in a row. But I don't think it's you must move if the other league has a team there. But it sure as heck sounds like we are going to get some new teams, new cities. Let us know down in the comments. Let us know in the chat. What teams do you think are going to relocate? Where would you like to see them relocate? Which teams do you think must stay where they are? Like I said, we mentioned the big one, the St. Louis Battlehawks. They'd be silly to get out of St. Louis, but you know what? Some things are out of your control. So maybe there's other reasons there. Maybe there's some other reasons. Either way, I think that's about it for this week. We got a full hour chock full of discussion. Before we go, again, we're going to remind you, head over to Pro Football Newsroom, fill out our Best of Spring Football 2021 fan poll. This coming Wednesday, December 29th, the ref and Zach from the Gridiron Gallery, we're going to reveal the results live on This Year in Spring Football. And we're going to talk about the best moments. We're going to talk about our favorite moments. And honestly, we're going to talk about what we'd like to see in 2022. We have a big year ahead of us. We have more spring football, the lead up to XFL, the kickoff of USFL, FCF season version 2.0. We might get some Major League Football in there as well. I know they're trying to get their training camps in April to have a season in 2022. So let us know. Let your voice be heard. Also, since we're talking about it, we're going to jump over to the cam. Actually, you know what? I'm going to give you a sneak peek. So one thing that we're working on a new version of the website. It's more or less the same with just a couple new features. Things like light and dark mode are going to be there. Some newer flashy exterior. Much faster than the other one. Much faster than all the competitors. No paid viewers. None of that stuff here. But this should be coming soon. There's going to be a couple new features. Like I said, the article tracking, if you look up here, right here, you'll see it shows you where you are in the article. And like I said, there's going to be a lot of cool little goodies hidden in there. Look for that. Don't know when we're planning on releasing it, but it's going to be soon. But as always, you can go to each of the sections to get to, for instance, USFL Newsroom. And each article is going to have that indicator in the article, whereas if you go to, let's say, an XFL article, maybe not this one in this instance because I'm still working on the site, guys. Still working on the site. We'll try out this one here. This one should work. There we go. Oh, well, since we hit the Discord link. Also, make sure you hit the Discord. We have a link down in the description. We have links over on the website. Come and join a bunch of like-minded spring football fans. We're talking XFL, FCF, USFL, basically all football. We're having a good time, a good community, if you will. So we're going to move to the camera here. I think this was a fun hour. You know, like I said, we had a technical difficulty. We love the technical difficulties. We get signed up on technical difficulties. I'll tell you, I'm a little bit under the weather, and I did a lot better than I thought I would. You might be able to tell that I'm not feeling too great. Maybe my energy's a little bit lower than normal, but I'm not blaming it on the technical difficulties. If anything, that gave me the energy to get signed up. But before we go, Merry flipping Christmas, guys. Thanks for joining the Sign Me Up Christmas Eve Spectacular. Thanks for supporting Pro Football Newsroom, XFL Newsroom, USFL Newsroom, CFL Newsroom, all the newsrooms, all of our podcasts, all of our writers. We couldn't do it without you. This is a magical time of year for giving and no hate. No hate. We don't like hate here. We only like to have a good time. So sign you up. Hopefully you join us, like I said, December 29th for our This Year in Spring Football. It's going to be a good time. If you don't, watch it on demand. That's fine. Hopefully you guys have a great Christmas. Hopefully there's a lot of spring football goodies under your tree. I know I asked Santa Claus for a few things. I asked the wife for a few things too. So maybe we'll have a sneak preview of that on the next episode. Hopefully your guys are safe. Hopefully your families are well and your bellies get full. Hopefully you're watching all the Christmas classics. I know after this, I'm going to go finish our dinner shopping. So we have some nice snow crab and ham and turkey and mashed potatoes and all the fixing for tomorrow. Then I'm going to come home and we're going to watch It's a Wonderful Life, one of my favorite Christmas classics. And then we'll probably watch A Christmas Story after that. We're going to go down Christmas Avenue tonight. But again, thanks for supporting us. Thanks for just being the salt of the earth fans and community here. And like I said, we'll talk to you here December 29th. Until then, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you click the bell. There's nothing better than the bell. The bell builds morale. The bell builds morale. It builds morale to click the bell. If you click the bell, you will build morale. Honestly, if you click the bell, if you were on the naughty list, Santa's probably automatically going to change you to the nice list. Your tree is going to be packed full of gifts, so click the bell. But I think that's it, guys. So until next time, sign you up, and thanks for joining. We'll see you December 29th for this year in spring football. Party on, guys, and sign you up.
Low self-esteem is like a virus. You catch it from other people. Low self-esteem is like a virus. You catch it from other people. You didn't get your low self-esteem necessarily because you were born with it. It's got to be a genetic component here. But mostly it comes from narcissists who have their own broken self-esteem, and they want you to have a broken self-esteem, and if you don't have it, they're going to give it to you. You catch it from other people, and you can get rid of it, just like you can get rid of it. Right? Low self-esteem is like a virus. You catch it from other people. Low self-esteem is like a virus. You catch it from other people. You do have a constitution. You do have immunity. But it takes a little while, just like getting cold. The cold wins for a while, and then your natural immunity takes over. Your natural immunity can get you away from this low self-esteem that you caught from other people. It's not in you. It's something you caught. And you're going to beat the shit out of it. Just like your immune system will beat the shit out of it. Tom Hanks was it. 99% of you plus. Low self-esteem is like a virus. You catch it from other people. Low self-esteem